Hey everybody, how you doing today? It's Josh, and this has been a very strange 24 hours for me. And I already uploaded videos explaining, the flowers that I found, and the strange UFO sighting that I had. But something really hit home when I got back to my house. I realized, I got up early this morning, and I hiked up into the woods with my dog, and as I was walking along the trail, I was thinking about the Native Americans and how they would speak to the plants, how they spoke to the earth, and I talked to the trees, I talked to the ground, I talked to the plants, I speak to them out loud. And I asked the universe, I said, I'm looking for I want to wildcraft, I want to find an herb that's going to help me with my creations. And what I've been trying to work on is an herbal painkiller, or a remedy for people with chronic pain, so they don't have to take medication. Things like kratom do work, but I know that there are other components out there, other alkaloids and other things. Anyway, I came across this plant, and I picked it, and it was I sat down at the end of the trail and up on this hillside, and there it was, this cluster of these white flowers, instantly fascinated by these plants, as if they were speaking to me. I saw a bee land on it, so I knew it was a flower. It was being pollinated, but it had no green, no chlorophyll at all. And instantly, knowing plants, even though a small amount I really do, I knew that it was either a symbiotic relationship or most likely a parasitic flower. And I've never heard of a parasitic flower like that. Not in that way. Most plants have green on them. And so anyway, I came home, I started doing my research, and found out that I can't remember the technical name for it, but it's called ghost pipe, or corpse plant, and it's highly revered, and people have been using it medicinally, but it's not very well known, and people have been using it for an antipsychotic and for depression. Here's what people say about it. People who have taken it for pain say, after being asked about it, they say, it's strange that it didn't take the pain away. It put the pain over here, so I could analyze it. It made it just not matter, which really hit home with me because I was reading recently about a part of the brain that, when triggered, it does exactly that. Certain people have had lobotomies and things like that in the past, which have caused them to have pain, but it never really goes away. You just can't feel it. It just doesn't bother you. Because there's two different parts. There's the pain sensors, and then there's the part of the brain that receives it as a negative thing. So people who've taken it for this say that they're set aside from their pain. Then I found out that people who are taking it for reasons such as depression or issues, it's supposed to be one that helps you face your problems. It says that it doesn't eliminate the issues. One guy described it as all of his problems were put in a box in front of him, and he was able to see what they are and deal with them. And they no longer bothered him, and eventually he didn't even have to take the tincture anymore because he was able to retrain his brain, if you will. I found out that they contain glycosides, which can be dangerous in large quantities, so people are still kind of iffy about the plant. The idea, I guess, is to take two parts liquor, or Everclear to 1 part plant material. You soak it and agitate it in the jar, and then you use that tincture. Between 3 and 30 drops, and people have had amazing results with this stuff. So when you put your intention out to the universe, you will find what you're looking for, and I forget that sometimes, but it always happens. And the same thing happened last night with that UFO, because we were sitting there, and I was telling my son, I was saying, I just wish that I could see something crazy in the sky. And there it comes, and so this experience has been very mystical for the last 24 hours. It's my belief that the plants brought me to them because I intended on finding these plants. They're not rare in occurrence. They grow all over, but they tend to be rare because they tend to grow during warmer summer or fall months after a heavy rain. So when I found that one cluster, it kind of interested me. Well, I walked up the street back to this campsite, and I saw another cluster, and I looked closer, and I realized there were just hundreds of them. And so my plan is to go back and harvest them. make a tincture out of them and try it myself. People need to know to be cautious with plants, and I think most people are pretty aware of that. But if you want to find the right medicine, you ask for what you need, and you will find it. I'm very, very fascinated with plants, and I think that the thing that amazed me is I brought this white flower back to my campsite, and when I had it sitting down on the table, I picked it up, and the entire stem had bruised black where I had pinched it. It bruised purplish black, and that to me said, okay, it's either has alkaloids in it, some sort of toxins, perhaps psychedelic. And then I read somewhere that some people say that it is psychedelic. So more to learn about these things, but one last point was that one guy said he had been giving it to people who were having bad LSD trips or people who had gone too far, and it seemed to calm them down. It seemed to relate to that part of the brain, that secondary reality that we go into when we're in a trip. I mean, in the last 24 hours I've had so many weird things happen to me, but that was one of them. And taking the plants is the best way to, I think, find the plants. In other words, if you're looking for mushrooms, eat a mushroom, become part of the mushroom world. The thing that fascinates me about the Indian pipe is that it's not a fungus on its own. It actually grows out of the mycelial network in the soil. So some people have called it the consciousness of the forest, the manifested consciousness of the forest. These beautiful flowers that cannot be cultivated at home. You cannot bring seeds home and grow them in your garden. These are things you have to find in their place. They only grow in shady spots where nothing else grows. They only grow out of decaying material, and they are there and then gone. And they're only about 8 inches tall. And but they're white and they're easy to find. So I'm going to go out and do some more work on that. But I just wanted to share that. It's a very interesting plant, I thought. Maybe there's something there. It has salicylic acid in it, which is the same thing that's in willow bark, which is what they use for aspirin. So that's one probably component of the painkiller properties. But anyway, more to learn, and we'll find out.